Next, what I'm going to review here is palmwood. Palmwood is coming from the Philippines. It's actually coconut wood. It's relatively new wood in terms of use for lumber. It's a sustainable wood. It's plantation grow, and once the coconuts have fallen off and the tree's over 7 years old, what they do is cut the trees out and they replant, and they haven't really been using the logs, and now they're actually using the wood for different uses such as flooring, furniture, paneling, a whole mix of uses. I found this at Woodcraft and I figured I'd make a fretboard out of it. The wood is not actually a wood, it's actually a grass, and it doesn't have any annual growth ring, so the wood just kind of grows all over the place. What's really cool is the different flecks in the wood have kind of different look and densities. So the light colored grain marks here are softer, the darker grain marks are harder. I'm going to make a fretboard out of this. It's got some interesting tonal properties, it's got some beautiful figure. It's a really unique piece of wood. It's got a high silica content, so it definitely will dull your tools, but a really neat wood to play with today. You'll start seeing this wood a lot more frequently. There was just a review of this wood in a woodworking magazine that I had gotten. I don't remember which one. In terms of workability, I've got my 5/8 inch bit with my Makita, and the wood is relatively hard. This is actually a harder piece. You can see the wood kind of tears out. It's very fibrous, and so what happens as you're drilling, cutting, turning, whatever, the wood's going to kind of rip and tear more so than actually mill. So you got to be careful. It's technically all end grain to some degree. So as you're working with it, you got to be careful that it doesn't split out and tear out really bad. In terms of tap tone, the piece is going to have somewhat of a uniform tap tone because of how the piece of wood is growing. Now this one is actually pretty bright. There are different densities of palmwood. There's actually different types of palmwood as well. This is a black, I've seen red. The tree grows where the outer sides of the tree are actually the hard pieces, and the inside of the wood is actually more soft. So this is an outside piece with an interesting tone. It does have a decent ring. As I'm playing with it, I think it should make a pretty good fretboard. So it does have a high oil content, a high silica content. What I'm going to do before I glue it is actually wipe it down with acetone, let that dry, and then glue it on. Help break down some of the oils and give me a better cleaning surface. I also wanted to see what this wood looks like when it's got a finish. Since it's got a lot of oils, it'll take a nice high polish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some naphtha and wipe it on here and show you what it'll look like when it's got a little bit of a seal on it. So it's definitely nice and dark. You can see those dark pieces really go darker. So with this, I think you really would want to avoid using a really high yellow based finish. You would want to stay with more of a clear finish from that finish review. I think if you put a yellow finish on here, it would really darken this up more so than what you'd want. You really want the figure to show. So if you're going to put a finish on this, I would use definitely a clear finish. What's also nice about this wood is that it's not too expensive. This piece itself was $19, which actually is expensive for this one piece, but if you're buying wood in bulk, that's still rough. You can actually get some decent pricing on this stuff. So that's it. That's palmwood. Definitely an interesting piece of wood. I'm going to use this on the next tally neck that I'm going to be machining here shortly. I'll show you that video when it's done.